honey rolls along you. Wanna hear my song? So welcome to my show. Oh, welcome to my kitchen. My show is so hot, honey. The vegan, the meat, the gluten-free, the dairy-free. Oh.
Hey darlings, Holas. My name is Soraya from Soraya's Fierce Cooking Show and Soraya's Fierce Kitchen. Soraya Sorbada, the queen of healthy Latin cooking. Welcome to my kitchen, welcome to my show. And this evening will be the Oscars, and I love movies. I think I love them equally, movies and music. I got to see a movie yesterday that was absolutely fantastic. I'm really excited this evening to watch the Oscars, and I'm sure a lot of you are as well. This morning I woke up wanting to do an episode, right? Because I've been posting images of my Besito de Coco recipe. I got up wanting to make a video, and then YouTube sends me an email saying that I reached 1,000 subscribers, so that's a big deal, so I'm really glad about that. And it was really funny, just as I was in thought about doing a cooking show, I get the YouTube email. So I want to thank all the subscribers for listening and watching and listening, because I like to talk. Cool. So we're doing the Besitos de Coco recipe today. I'm tweaking it a little bit. I'm going to add more flaxseed meal than originally. I'm going to use some coconut milk, and I'm gonna also use some of the almond breeze milk because I want to reduce the fat calories, because this is a really delicious dessert, and the shredded coconut or the coconut flakes, whatever you end up using, hopefully you're using an unsweetened coconut flakes or shredded coconut, has a lot of fat in it anyway. The traditional Besitos de Coco recipe is not vegan. It has milk, it has eggs. My recipe doesn't have any egg. It maintains a nice texture without the egg, without the animal dairy. One ingredient is my secret. I really want you to come to my restaurant and eat it and say, what does she put in there? What does she put in there besides cooking and her passion for family and unity and love and togetherness and wholesomeness and plant-based foods and foods with no additives and artificial food colorings, you know, and monogamy and love. All that good stuff. I'm going to disclose the ingredients for this recipe because I do want to share some of them with you, so you can say, oh my god, this is really good. I want to keep working this recipe. I chose to add vanilla, instant. I prefer the cook and serve sugar-free, but they're kind of hard to find. This is soy-free and dairy-free. It has modified food starch. It does have aspartame. So you don't want artificial sweeteners, then please do not use this product. You know, read your labels and listen to your body. I do it from time to time. And then I use flaxseed meal, as I've been saying. It's a good egg replacer and vegan recipe, so I'm doing that. I'm using the Bob's Red Mill gluten-free flour mix, which will be 2/3 cup like my original recipe. The flaxseed meal, I'm adding a little bit more than usual. I'm adding 1/4 cup, maybe 1/3 cup. I really want the B vitamins, I want the fiber, I want the benefits of flaxseed meal in my Besitos de Coco, which is so cool, right? To add something like that to a Besitos de Coco, which on a traditional level, a lot of sugar doesn't need to be that way. But then again, your taste buds need to be trained to have gotten off major hardcore sugars to appreciate a recipe that does not have a lot of added sugar, right? So if you're used to eating a lot of cake and candy with a lot of sugar, if you try this, you're going to be like, oh, this is not sweet at all. For someone like myself, and there's many like me who have refrained from eating heavy sugars, and this is very, very satisfying as a dessert. It's sweet enough. I didn't check the label. I just saw it and I got excited because I always love Bob's Red Mill products. But this is flaked coconut, where I would have preferred shredded. I'm still going to use it. I'm not sure if I'm going to food process it. I may leave it just the way it is and just see how they come out. So this will be flaky instead of shreddy. Okay, store brand, easy to find vanilla extract, little bit of salt. I'm using I grew up on Goya and I love Goya. Their coconut milk, but I really wanted to just touch a Goya can, but no added sugar. So I'm probably going to use 1/2 cup of this and then substitute the rest of the liquid that's needed to bring everything together which may be like a cup and a half of liquid, will be the almond breeze, very, very low fat, and it's very creamy, very tasty, like on my vegan ice cream recipe, right? I love that. I am going to use pecan halves. May add some cricket powder just to give it protein. And then there's going to be stevia sweetener, which will be a half a cup of granulated. Alright, and I'm going to do all that by hand. I'm not going to put it in the food processor. You'll need parchment paper. You'll need to dust the parchment paper. You'll need a little ice cream scoop. I find that the little ice cream scoops like this are really, really cool for the Besitos de Coco. I'm on weight control and weight maintenance, and I like having quantity of any food that I'm going to have. So I want to keep it a healthy carb, gluten-free, right? Flaxseed meal with fiber, healthy carb, no dairy, very nice, no artificial, except for the jello mix. It's very artificial there. You have some artificial food colorings there. You do have aspartame, but I don't want to do a lot of fat. I may want to have those Besitos de Coco with a little bit of my low-fat ice cream. So I want to kind of keep the fat low, which is why I think I will only use a half a cup of the coconut milk, and then supplement again, I will say, the almond breeze, because the almond breeze is fabulous. I said it on my vegan ice cream that there's a flavor of the almond breeze that is coconut milk and almond, I think, and that just had a fabulous coconut taste that for this Besitos de Coco recipe would be ideal. Now we're going to go into mixing. I got these big stainless steel bowls that I really love, and there's something about mixing the food with my hands, and I think that energy is really, really good in any recipe. So my darlings, welcome to Soraya's Fierce Cooking Show, and hopefully I'll see you at Soraya's Fierce Kitchen here in Long Beach, California soon. Let's proceed with the recipe. Yes! I feel it all around tonight. Oh Lord, this is a kind of song. I can't remember deep but not the words. Oh darling, we're gonna make a vegan Besitos de Coco recipe, and it's gonna be so delicious, my love. Oh yeah. Oh darling. Oh Lord. Oh, I love that Phil Collins song, right? Whew, it's so hot. I love music and I love movies. I do. Speaking of music, you know, I have released some songs. I don't know if some of you know that. You can hear them on SoundCloud. My account is IMT Junita Perez Soraya Sobada, because there's some tracks I've done too as Soraya Sobada. But I've done tracks on the IMT and Junita Perez before becoming more fabulous as transgender. And if you go to SoundCloud, you can hear them, and then you can buy them on Amazon. And you can buy them on iTunes. They're there. They've been there. You can hear them everywhere. Pandora. They're everywhere. And I get my little royalties for my music stuff. And like I said, I got 1,000 subscribers finally on YouTube. I haven't been consistent with videos because what started as just a cooking show ended up to be like a lifestyle change. Not just a lifestyle, but like a life change of going transgender. So, you know, wasn't totally a smooth, consistent process, you know. Go through a process and have to filter, process it, go through a situation, a stage, and have to filter and process and keep moving on. It wasn't consistent. So, but anyway, you know, I'm hoping to be more consistent now. I feel it, especially now since I've gotten over my fears of starting that food stand where propane tanks were as big and as tall as the Empire State Building or the mountains here in California. So I think that's why I'm doing more cooking show episodes now, because I feel more relaxed. Plus, you know, this last year I did my face and my body surgery. It's a lot. But as Daniela Vega, her character, Miranda, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. There was a part in there where she says if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. It's true. It doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. So I have my little chef's jacket on with my undergarment, keeping it sexy with a little necklace in here. So, alright, so, you know, I'm chit-chatting a lot because it's been a while since I've done videos and I get to talk about my stuff. It's like therapy. So I have this fabulous mixing bowl. I have measuring cups, measuring spoons. I'm going to start with my flour. I am totally in love with Bob's Red Mill. Even though he's an older man, he probably wants nothing to do with Soraya Sobada. But that might not be true because in Fantastic Woman, she was young. And Oh man, Leonardo Alberto, I don't know. God, I just watched it yesterday. He was 58 and he died of an aneurysm in his brain. And that kind of tripped me out because I'm going to be 59, so. And I don't think I look anything like he did. Wow, he was whatever. So, anyway, I'm all over the place today. It feels good to be back. So I just put 2/3 cup of flour in there. I'm going to add another one. So it's a cup. And this is probably going to be a big batch, and I don't care, but. And I'm going to add a 3rd cup. So there's a cup of any gluten-free flour that suits your fancy. Now, if the gluten-free flour you choose has zeytin gum, good. If it doesn't have zeytin gum, try to add it. It helps bind. Now, I just added a 3rd cup of flaxseed meal. Now, I did say I wanted to use the Lipid Nutrition Cricket Powder. I want to use it because it's got a good source of protein that's non-animal. I want to add it because nutritionally it's going to give me a benefit. So I'm not going to add too much. I would say maybe 2 tablespoons. Yep, just a little bit. So I have some dry ingredients. I'm just going to mix them together a little bit just to kind of get it going. Do all the dry first. I'm going to add a little pinch of salt. Alright, yeah, you're all there still? Good. And then I'm going to add my Jello mix. Right. I'm going to preheat my oven right now to 375. And you should definitely insert your product, the Besitos or Coco, on a preheated oven, okay? 10 minutes in there. And so that's a large box of the Jello Instant Vanilla Sugar-Free Pudding. Now the last time I did this, I did not use a large box. I used a little box, and it was the Cook and Serve Sugar-Free, which I prefer the Cook and Serve because you're heating it, right? And then when you cool it, it turns to pudding, so that's so cool. This works too. This works too, but I prefer, like I said, I could not find it around here. I love Long Beach. Wow, some products was like, I think that was such a basic. I could find that in any supermarket in Jackson Heights, but I have to stop comparing. Comparing and despairing. Good at that. Anyway, so I want to add the flaked coconut. I have a 12-ounce bag, which, you know what? I think I'm going to add maybe 8 ounces, maybe this whole entire bag. Because in my last recipes, it was like 12 ounces that I added. Right now we do the nuts last. Now we're going to go into a little bit of wet ingredients. Now I like a lot of vanilla flavor. Besides the fact that I'm using vanilla pudding, I am going to use 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. And I'm just going to mix that up a little bit. Just mix it up. Easy, my darlings. Easy, easy. I am using my girl Goya. Oh, I love her so much. We're going to use a half a cup. Now we shake her because there's fat in here and she's at room temperature, and I want to make sure I'm getting, equal amount of everything. So, the fat may settle to the edge of the can, to the bottom of the can. So I want to make sure I'm getting all of the fat. Now, I really just want to use a half a cup. And there's no reason why I should not use just a half a cup. There's no reason to add a lot of fat to this recipe. There really isn't. Especially if your body and your taste buds have gotten used to not eating heavy fat. Like I was talking about before, your taste buds and your body, your mind has weaned itself away from heavy sugars, where something with moderate fat, moderate natural sweeteners, or a little bit of artificial sweetener is still satisfying to you. And it's very, very possible. It's very, very possible. Now, I've added a half a cup of coconut milk, the Goya, right? And so I'm going to add the almond breeze as I form the mix. And I will measure it as I'm doing the recipe, so we have record of it. I have record of it because this recipe is going to be, like my empanadas, a foundation recipe, a recipe that's done a steady basis, this amount, and then we double it, triple it to make large quantities. So we want to get the flavor and the texture and everything the same each time. So that's another reason why I'm bringing this recipe to you again after already having it on YouTube from my Jackson Heights apartment. I wanted to kind of bless the recipe in this apartment. A dream of mine to have cottage food permit and be able to do that, my dream of that is coming true here in Long Beach. A lot of my dreams are coming true in Long Beach. But they could have came true anywhere I wanted them to come true. It just happened that I wanted them to come true here because the licenses and applications are easier. It's just that simple. And farmers markets and all of this run year round in California as opposed to New York, where it's not like that. You know that the weather is different. I just added my half a cup of coconut milk. I'm gonna start with the other milk too. Now we're using the Almond Breeze Almond Cashew, one of my favorites. But the coconut one, if you can find it, oh my god, it's amazing. So I added a half a cup of coconut milk. I'm going to add a half a cup of the Almond Breeze. For now, she will require more liquid. You could even go water if you want to, some purified alkaline water, because here in Cali you don't cook with faucet water. Again, your taste buds in your body are used to the fats and the sugars that you consume that you feel comfortable with. I don't like a lot of fat. I don't like a lot of sugar. I would not eat anything fried. That's not true. I don't eat it often, I tell you that much. Not at all. And I'm going to tell you right now that it's going to definitely need more liquid. And let me add that now since I can see that it does. I'm adding another cup. 1.5 cups of Almond Breeze, half a cup of coconut milk. Okay. So let's just, while we're in this mode, let's just mix the liquid with this. I want to mix this well before I add the coconut. Like my first video, I'm going to go to the skillet with a little patty of this and cook her on the stove and make sure the sweetness is good, the salt's good, the flavor's good. And then once I approve, then I will scoop her out and then bake her. I just want to make sure I mix all of this. And of course, for this part, the food processor would work really well. But you know, this is good exercise to really get into it with yourself. Your energy as a human without a machine, and mix this all up. I'm also feeling that she's going to need a little bit more salt, so we'll get that. Okay, and the flaxseed meal is really giving me a nice texture. I have some carries, sugar-free syrup, just going to add a little bit of that. Hi, I just added my half a cup, approximately 1/3, half a cup of the stevia granulated sweetener. And so I'm just going to get this nice and smooth. And then what we're going to do is add the coconut. So I would say I did 2/3 of the bag, probably like 4 ounces. So I did 8 ounces. I'm pretty good with my measurements. My friend came to visit 2 months ago maybe, and he helped with making empanadas at the commercial kitchen. I went to weigh and measure some things, and I got them right to point. Like I could tell from the weight in my hand how many ounces. I think he was impressed with that. And I said to him, I said, well, that's all the years of weighing and measuring my food. And I feel I have a pretty good gauge with measurements of food. And I'll put something on the scale and say, oh, that's going to be 0.88, and it's pretty close to it, or 0.1, or 4 ounces, or whatever. And it is. So I'm looking at the mix, and I'll let you see. Use more coconut. Then 10 ounces that we added. And I do think the shredded is nice. It's probably preferable. You know, the flakes are cool. You'll see it. Okay, now I did say I was going to work my hands in this, so I'm going to go and get messy. And I wouldn't really suggest licking any of this because of the flour. Like so, you know, licking your hands or anything like that. I think that's good. I think that's very good. So just a little bit. I just want to touch her. Make sure she's okay. So I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then we're going to start spooning. So we're going to start spooning the mixture onto the tray. Okay? Alright, we'll be back. We're going to test the mixture. I like to do that. Just a little bit. This is up a little high. I'm a little burnt already. I'm so glad I have somebody at the food center to help me cook, because I was burning them in the beginning. You know, I didn't know what to expect. You know, talking to people about the recipe and cooking at the same time. So she gets to cook them. We prepare them together, but she cooks them. And I get to talk to people about the recipe and why and how come and all that good stuff. So we got a little Besito de Coco patty. Gauge how it tastes. And if we think it needs something or has too much something, we can adjust the recipe before we put the batch to cook. I'm ready. I'm ready to taste. Hey, I'm going to test what we just did. They're a little hot. Of course, when it cools down, it always tastes better. I'm not adding any unsweetened chocolate to this at all. You know, I had a little chocolate drizzle going on, and I didn't add the pecans yet, but let's see. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, I really like them. It'll work. Very low sugar. Actually, I think it's perfect. Very coconutty. Wow. Okay, so I have a non-stick baking sheet. We have a nice big mix of the batter. You can see it's the flaked coconut. Don't say that it looks like chopped onion, because it does. I didn't want to say that it looks like chopped onion. It's okay. We're still gonna go ahead. I would advise using shredded coconut. My second tray as we scoop away. That rhymes. Okay, so we've scooped them all out, and then I'm gonna add the pecans to them. These are pecan halves, and you'll have to watch this when you bake them, that the pecan half doesn't burn.
I can feel.
We have 33 servings, which is so cool, okay? So I have the oven at 350 instead of 375. And because I have two trays, I'm gonna put it in for about 15 minutes and keep a really good eye on them. I want them to bake and I don't want them to burn. In the oven they went, and I'm gonna put the timer and we'll be back. Okay, there they are. The timer went off. They're cooked. I've turned off the oven and I'm gonna just leave them in there a little longer because I want to make sure they're thoroughly baked. I already checked the internal temperature of them. They're at 185, which is really good. But I just want them to sit just for a little while, and then I'm gonna take them out and cool them, and then let you see them at that point too. But they look really, 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 really great. Those are the Besitos de Coco. They're beautiful. They're gonna be really a lot healthier than your traditional. Maybe not as sweet, but they have protein powder, they have flaxseed meal, they're higher in fiber, lower in sugar, lower in fat. That means you can eat a bunch of them. Okay, I've taken them out of the oven. This is what they look like. Now, they're browner than you would be accustomed to. The reason for that is the protein powder and the flaxseed meal. We have two trays. I can tell by looking at them that they're lesser fat than the ones that I've made before. They're nice, they've browned nicely. I like to make sure these are cooked. We did check the temperature to 185 internal. There's no egg in this, no dairy. But I wanted to, of course, make sure they baked. So they look adorable. I'm gonna try this little one here. Holas, darlings. I didn't wear false eyelashes today. I really didn't do too much with my makeup. Last night I went out. I felt stunning. The outfit was really fabulous, my makeup. So I didn't do a lot of coverage on my facial hair. So you know, I know you guys still love me anyway. Even if I have facial hair, I know you are the one for me. This is where you ought to be. Here at my cooking show, which is Rice's cooking show, where I'm cooking healthy and gluten-free, and I can't deny it. Don't you hear me bang those pots and clang those measuring cups? Love me now, or I'll go crazy. Oh, this is a sweet thing, even though it doesn't have any white sugar. Oh, my
Besitos de Coco. They're such a sweet thing and they're naturally sweetened. Yes, they are.
Honey, you compromise a little bit, right? Well, you compromise a bit when you try to do this, right? This is not egg. This is not heavy coconut cream with sugar. No added white sugar. So don't expect this to be like the Besitos de coconut or coconut macaroons you find at the store, honey. Anyway. They're very good. Now, I'm an ex, like, a whole box of Yoros, whole box of Twinkies eater. But I've weaned myself down. They taste healthy. And then they taste sweet at the end. The end kicks the sweet. You don't get like, whoosh of sugar. They're moist. And they're going to taste better when they cool down. Very nice. Very nice. I can take a whole tray of those with a movie and pop them. They're not dense like the first batch I made, which was shredded. So when they're shredded, they blend in with everything else better. I get, since they're flaked coconut, I get chunks of the coconut and then some of the flour mix and all of the flavorings from what we added, right? The vanilla and all of that. That was a cup of flour with only a half a cup of fat coconut milk. The rest was the almond grease. I'll have to do the nutritional facts because I like to know how much calories one of those scoops has, and I'd like to know how much fat. I wanted to create recipes that have the flavor without all of that fat and sugar. Very satisfying. I hope you find this recipe interesting enough to try it at home. It's nice, it's delicious, it's healthy. If you have any questions about this recipe, just let me know through this YouTube channel that I have here. And thank you so much for watching Soraya's Here's Cooking Show. And if you're here in California, you're visiting, come visit me at the Farmers Market at downtown Long Beach on Fridays from 9 to 2. And you can try my vegan empanadas, and I'm introducing other dishes as I go along, okay? And these will be there as well. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. Bye. Take care. Bye.
Welcome to my show, honey. Welcome to Soraya's Kitchen. When you're feeling blue, you don't know what to do. Carrying such a heavy load, honey, feels like you're all alone. You need a new recipe, well, I'm the one to see. Friday rolls along, you wanna hear my song, so welcome to my show. Oh, welcome to Soraya's Kitchen. My show is so hot, honey. The fish, the meat.
Hey, darling.